Hibs going to win the league next season?
Never say never. Never say never. The way Rocky Bashiri's playing, who knows?
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Salt and Sauce podcast, looking at Edinburgh's two football clubs, Hearts and Hibs. I'm joined by my Hibs supporting and very smug friend Robert. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very, very good. I said I'd be happy, and I am. So I'm very good. Thank you, Stuart.
Yeah, we'll come on to why later on. I'm not surprised to hear that. Robert, obviously, first of all, we'll do a quick shout out for the sponsors. Do you want to jump in first with that?
Yeah. First sponsors AW Decor, taking care of all your painting and decorating needs. A really good bunch of lads. They're expanding company, so give them a shout if you need any painting and decorating done.
Great, and they'll be up on the screen just now. And alongside them is Mint Box Removals, another really good bunch of guys that will do a cracking job getting stuff in and out of storage, moving house, whatever that might be. So do take their details down as well and give them a shout. Robert, onto the podcast though. I suppose we always like to start on the team that wins.
Yep.
So it makes sense then for you to jump in at this point. You were at home to St Johnstone and it was a 3-0 victory.
Yep. 3-0 going on 10.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. All the bigging up we did of like the way St Johnstone play and how they like to play expansive football. I I don't know kind of what their game plan was. It was like
Right.
that they weren't like attacking and they also weren't defending. It was just like a nothing. It's probably the worst team I've seen at Easter Road this season.
Really?
Um, they were just awful. Hibs were on it. We were up for it. Even our players that were on international duty, they came back, and you could just tell um, the mood that the players were in. You know, they were zipping the ball about, attacking, piling players forward, and I just got the sense that they were really, really in the mood. But we've had that before, and then you don't get the breakthrough, and the other team get a goal out of nothing. So I wasn't getting like too carried away, but I was thinking to myself that this could be a good day. And then when we get the early goal, then it just kind of it settled the nerves. And to be honest, it should have been a lot more. Did you see it yourself or?
I caught the highlights. I was flying with work on Saturday, flying back from Vienna, so I had to play catch up. So it's hard, and I'll talk about this with Hearts Celtic. It's hard to get the pattern of the game at that
Yeah,
point, but
yeah.
even from the highlights, it didn't look like there was ever any bother.
No, there actually wasn't. So if we actually look at the game, um, the first goal, and again, it's so important in these games, like we talked about with the Hearts Celtic and when Hibs played Celtic, the first goal is so important because if you get the first goal, then they have to open up even more, and they were already like so open, St Johnstone. Um, I thought they might come and keep it tight and then maybe have a go. No, they were like trying to pass it about at the back. Hibs were just pressing, and the St Johnstone players are just not good enough to play that. So they were
Yeah,
just turning it over all the time. So Hoylett gets it kind of on the edge of the box, and I don't know if you've seen the goal, but it's an absolute beauty.
yeah.
Just curled right into the top bin. So that kind of settled things, and then we just battered them really. Kukurevich missed an absolute sitter, like a sitter. It's one that you crossed over by a beta. It's actually like a Cadden style cross as well.
Yeah.
It crossed in. Can't ask for like any better delivery. Just head it in. There's no one near him. He's a few yards out, and he like goes on it with his, I think it was his right foot, and it
Yeah.
just goes over the bar, and you're just like that. I hope we don't regret that because that was an
He's a
absolute
bit,
spitter.
he's a bit hit and miss.
Yeah,
Well, literally a bit hit and miss. I'm not sure what to make of him. I generally don't know if he's any good or not.
his first spell, he looked a real player, and
Yeah.
like it was sad for him to go. This spell, um, he's been a bit hot and cold, and he's been a bit in and out the team. And to be fair to him, he might be one of these strikers that just need a run of games. But
Yeah.
look, he didn't stop running. He didn't stop pressing. He did some like unseen work, if you know what I mean. Um,
It's not going to make the highlight reel.
but it's not. And the job is to put the ball in the back of the net, and that was it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a real big chance. But anyway, we didn't live to regret it, thankfully. Um, Again, Hoylett, St Johnson mucking about with it, and their defensive line. Hoylett slides in, and passes it to Boyle. Boyle squares him up 1-on-1, and shows a lot of composure and quality to get the second goal. Then, and from then on in, it was a training game for Hibs. Really, we we huffed and puffed. Could have, I think we kind of did take the foot off the gas a little bit because St Johnson offered. I'm not just saying this. Nothing.
Yeah.
Like nothing. No point was I like they're going to get a goal or there's a bit of pressure. There's some good passing. Like they were so bad. And then the third goal comes in the 93rd minute. We made a few subs,
Mm.
brought on the likes of Campbell and things, but we were never in any danger. It was a soft penalty, but it's a pen. Took his legs away, and Bowie puts it away. So that was kind of just the cherry on top, really. But
I remember hearing on off the ball that what was it? Someone said if you can boil an egg and it can be hard or soft, but it's still a boiled egg.
yeah,
So but that's true, and it's
it is.
a penalty, a soft penalty is a penalty.
Yeah, and it was a penalty, and it was really well taken. So it was good to see Boyle get a goal as well. Young Scottish player and
But Bowie,
uh, Bowie, sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Um, get the
But
get the
Boyle got a goal as well. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know.
Uh,
I don't think he'd call himself young anymore though.
no, maybe not. But look, it was job done, and that's it. Really, we're just on to the next one then.
Can I ask, in your opinion, because you obviously watched the full game, what percentage of it was Hibs being good and what percentage of it was St Johnstone being bad? Because I know it can be both at the same time, obviously, but
I'd probably say I know it's a cliche, but like it was a bit of both.
yeah,
We were so bad that we didn't have to be at our best,
but you did play well.
but we played well. No, we absolutely did, and we were professional. I think the best way to describe it wasn't our best performance of the season, but it was a professional job.
So
Uh,
maybe 50-50 then, 50-50 them being bad, you being good,
Maybe 60-40.
as in you being good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because to be fair, um, uh, seasons past, Hibs haven't taken these games seriously,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
we paid the price. So we were professional from the first minute to the last, which is what I've kind of been asking for. Just a
Yeah.
bit of consistency and teams that we should be beating, like St Johnston, just go out and do it.
I mean, so watching at Easter, well, we spoke about it last week. You had the what is on paper the easiest fixture in the league, and it sounds like you made it look like the easiest fixture in the league. So you've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, and that was without Newell, Johan, and Nicky Cadden as well.
Yeah.
That's without three players that could arguably get themselves in and around that starting area. So like it was really good to see that we just dealt with the pressure and we just got the job done. So no, it was a satisfying day.
Fair enough. Well, jumping into the Hearts game, unfortunately, it was the same for us, but just the other way around. A team just doing a professional job. We said last week that Celtic were obviously 99.9% going to go and win that game and probably do so to nil, probably do so comfortably, because that's just what happens when you play. I mean, really either of the Old Firm, but mainly obviously Celtic. Um, my only real thing to say about it is because the second half was a non-event. Nothing happened in the second half. So really only the first half to go on. We spoke about if you're gonna beat Celtic, you need to take an early chance that you get, or any chance that you get. But similar to you said it with Hibs, they had chance or certainly a chance early on. Was it Bowie
Yeah, in the Hibs game, yeah,
at
one on
Celtic? Yeah. And he didn't score. And the same happened with us. We had a chance with Kabangu. Nielsen had a chance from a corner. I'm not saying I'm not saying they were like sitters or anything like that, but they could have been 1-0 basically.
yeah, yeah,
And even I forget when Wilson had his chance. I think we were already 2-0 down at this point, to be fair, but maybe even three. But Wilson had a header again. It was a good chance, but no goal basically. And so you're going in at half time, and you're 3-0 down, but you've had three decent chances. I'm not saying that we deserve to be drawn or winning at all. It's just that we could have been still in the game at that point, but obviously they're the first two chances are more critical. That Wilson one less so because we're already 3-0 down. But they're just too good. Maeda too fast, too clinical, too much quality on the ball in midfield, solid at the back, and even with a new goalie in who's you know unfamiliar with the game, or certainly with playing for Celtic, you still need to get to him to create the chance. And I know he made a couple of saves. Talking about the one from Nielsen in particular, it was a fine save. If he doesn't make it though, it's an absolute horror show. Um, so even when we did get to him, he was never really troubled. And then, as I say, when you're 3-0 down after 37 minutes or whatever, it's game over. And there was nothing to talk about after that. The thing that has got me thinking about though is as much as we did is okay, given that we were away at Celtic Park at the start anyway. Pressed them high, created a couple of half chances. What the one downside to Critchley's reign so far, because I think we agreed that overall he's done a good job, is the big games haven't really, we've not done much in the big games. Celtic Rangers, even though we absolutely battered them the other week, still lost 3-1. Hibs, obviously, one draw and two losses, which um, is it's criminal if you're going to lose to your Derby rivals like that twice. But even going back to the European games, when we started to pick up a bit of form, I remember away to Bruges, we played great and we lost 2-0. Copenhagen, admittedly, they played us off the park. But even Petra Cup, who were Diddy club, absolute minnows in Europe, we drew 2-2 with them at Tynecastle. And that was after losing, being behind twice. So big games, we're not really getting it. We've beaten Aberdeen, we've beaten Dundee United, but they're not like big games. Obviously, they are our rivals going into the top six if we can stay in there. But Critchley's record in big games needs to improve if he wants to be a really good manager for Hearts at the minute.
Yeah, that's and the big games are like they can mask an average season, if you know what I mean. Like if you win your derbies and you get a result against Celtic or Rangers and you finish fifth, that can seem better than finishing fourth and like losing, not beating any of the top six.
No, absolutely. In fact, we had that kind of last season, I would say. We finished third at a bit of a canter.
Mm.
Um, but there weren't any real landmark results. Um, there was nothing that stood out from the season really.
Mm.
Obviously, a couple of good results in there, but nothing that made you go. "Oh."
Yeah, exactly,
The-
exactly.
See, the season we got relegated after we had the 15-point deduction and all that. Um, I sorry to bring it up, but when Hibs came to Tynecastle and they were going to have the relegation party, we knew
Mm.
we were down, but because we won that game,
Yeah,
it became a good season.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
purely because of that. Um, and I'm sure Hibs will have examples of that as well,
yeah,
beating Hearts or whatever. Actually, a good example: the year you won the cup,
yeah.
you didn't get promoted.
No, we didn't
So,
get promoted. We lost to Ross County in the other cup final. That should have been a double. We lost to Ross County somehow. Again, we battered them in, and they got the last minute goal. And as you say, we lost to Falkirk in the playoffs, I think, that year. So it was
yeah,
going to be an awful season. But because we won the cup, but because
well,
we knocked Hearts out on the way and beating Rangers in the final, it ended up being, a really good season. But without that, you're quite
oh,
right. Like Stubbs' job might have been in.
well, no, I've always said this. I don't think Stubbs did a great job at Hibs. Give it, winning the cup makes him a legend especially because it's Hibs in the Scottish Cup. But like, what was it, 3 seasons in the Championship in a row? I mean, I know that one of those seasons you've got Hearts and Rangers there, and then the other season you've got Rangers.
Yeah,
It's a pretty crazy situation, but I don't know if that Stubbs did that good a job.
I think what he did do well was, and obviously Dempster and the backroom staff and things,
Yeah.
they rebuilt the team and reconnected the team with the fans,
Hmm.
and that just culminated in that kind of Scottish Cup win then, because you know to win a cup and be finalists in the other,
Oh yeah.
we pushed for promotion. I think it was one of the Falkirk defenders at Easter Road. literally went like that with the ball. And if we had VAR now, like that's given us a penny. Literally went like that to stop the ball. So look, there were things, but ultimately we didn't go up. But you're
But you
right. It was kind of because we won it and how we won it.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, you could have won the Scottish Cup that season, beating Ross County and Dundee and St Mirren on the way, and obviously, given that it ended such a long way, it would have been
yeah,
brilliant. But to beat Rangers in the final, to come back against Hearts at Tynecastle and then beat them in the replay, I mean,
yeah,
that just makes it all the sweeter.
yeah.
So you make a really good point there that big games, and rightly or wrongly, can mask.
No, they do, and I always have this argument about Jack Ross as well. Whenever anyone says about Jack Ross, okay, Jack Ross had a great record against the bottom six in the league. Okay, it was a season there were no Hearts in the league. It was the worst Aberdeen team in years. Okay, so all that factored in, we finished third, not at a canter. It was only the last few games we pulled away from Aberdeen, and I think it was 5-6 points in the end. But like everyone goes on about, oh yeah, third place Jack Ross. He blew our chance, our best chance of a double that season. We lost to St Johnstone in the semi, and we lost to St Johnstone in the final of a cup. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, that is absolutely shocking, and we lost to Hearts as well. In that
the
in the
the top from the season before,
yeah, so like
and that
and
wasn't a great Hearts team.
and his top six record was shocking, so bad. So
And
like all that thrown in, finishing third that season, I'm not that impressed by.
yeah, because especially was it Motherwell that finished second, or were Rangers back in the league by then?
No, I think Rangers.
Getting mixed up with maybe when I'm thinking of earlier with
I
Motherwell.
think they were back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But all
Uh,
this, you're right. There's good and bad ways to finish third, and don't get me wrong, I would take a bad way for
oh,
third.
of course.
But but basically, this is what's missing from Hearts season is as much as we've improved over the last few months, and we are beating. We've beaten Dundee United, we've beaten Ross County, we've beaten Dundee, we've beaten Ross County. Yeah, not Ross County, whoever, St Mirren. Um, it's we want a result, and I'm not saying we win every game, but we want a result against Hibs,
Yeah.
Rangers, Celtic, or in Europe ultimately, and we do. We've got the Scottish Cup final to look forward to. Aberdeen are beatable, obviously.
Semi final, no?
Yeah. What did I say?
Final.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, semi final. Jumping the gun. But yes, a semi final to look forward to. Sorry. And we can beat Aberdeen definitely, and Critchley has beaten Aberdeen. But my worry is it's a big game.
Yeah.
He's not been brilliant in them so far. But
Yeah.
speaking of which, though, one of the teams I was talking about there is Dundee United. That's who we've got at the weekend
Yeah.
at Tynecastle. Um, I'm expecting to win, to be honest. At home to Dundee United, we beat them at Tannadice. I was going to say recently, it was probably ages ago, and I just can't remember. But beat them at Tannadice. But actually, it was another game where it was 1-0. But from memory, we it could have been much more, not much more, sorry, but could have been more comfortable than that.
Mm.
But you take a 1-0 away from home any day of the week. So I'm expecting us to beat Dundee United. I don't think they've been in great form recently. Um, I watched
Got
some
the,
of the
got the
game.
win at the weekend.
Oh yeah, but I saw. Did you see it?
No, it was horrible. It's
Oh
horrible.
man, it was one of the
Oh,
worst games of football I've ever seen. I don't
so,
think they deserved to beat Ross County. They did, so fair play to them. And
yeah.
again, I would take it if Hearts played poorly.
Mm.
But I don't think they've been in great form despite getting that win. And we have been in good form outside of Celtic and Hibs, but we've just spoken about our record in big games there. Um, so yeah, our home to them, and it's a great opportunity for us to get that. Personally, cement top six or get much closer to cementing it, but actually get much closer to Dundee United, who until that pretty late goal against Ross County, we would have completely caught them. They would have been
Mm.
within
Mm.
3 points of us. So I don't know. I'm still excited. I'm still thinking we could be in the mix. My only concern is if we then do get the top six, and I don't want to jump the gun too much with that,
Mm.
given that we've not been great in big games. My worry is how do we get on against Rangers, Celtic, and Hibs in that split. So, but it's too early to say. We just need to be in there first.
Well, of course, and okay, I know we were saying about an 8 point gap, and that's what it currently is. That can very quickly go away because Hibs are away to Rangers.
Yeah.
on Saturday, and you have Dundee United at home,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so you would expect all things being equal for that to go to 5 points, but because Rangers for as up and down as they have been, they still have better players than Hibs. You know what I mean? Like,
No doubt. I mean, and a bad Rangers team is usually better than a good Hibs team. Like
yeah,
that's
they can usually have enough quality to do it. But what I would say is just kind of talking about us going to Ibrox. This is the kind of best I've felt in a long time going to Ibrox because they're giving up a lot of goals. We create a lot of chances, and again, it's just going to be about can we put those chances away? And it might come down to like a shootout. Can we just outscore them? Because that's the way that Barry Ferguson seems to be setting
yeah, yeah, yeah.
up to just concede, but we'll score more than you. Is what he's betting on.
I heard a stat that Rangers have conceded more than 2 goals for it was like 5 or 6 consecutive league games for the first time in their history.
Yeah, yeah,
Which is crazy. But do you know what I would say from from Hearts' experience, and this is not a good thing, is for all we've had a couple of 3 or 4 seasons out of the last 8 where we've been the dominant third place team, um, and even in that, even when we're sweeping other teams away and generally getting wins elsewhere, you then think, oh, brilliant, can't wait to go to Ibrox. They're struggling, we're doing great, and
Mhm.
we end up losing like 3 or 4 nil.
Yeah. No,
So,
and that's what I was saying. Like, I'm not getting carried away or unrealistic. They have still got a very good team on paper when you see their team that they can put out, and when you can see the players they can bring on.
I know.
Every one of those guys just about gets gets in that starting 11 for Hibs. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
we still need those things we were talking about. That Hibs have a great day, our players turn up, we take our chances. Rangers have an off day, red cards, that type of thing. But I would say we will try and go toe to toe with them. I hope we do. I
Yeah.
hope we don't just go there and sit in and go for the draw. I hope we like give a good account of ourselves. And look, if we lose, we lose. But I hope we make a game of it.
So the
Boyle,
one,
fantastic record against Rangers. They won't
yeah,
be looking forward to facing him. We should be full of confidence. I mean, I'd bite your hand off for a draw right now.
of course.
It's and look, it wouldn't surprise me that much if we won. It's not that ridiculous considering you know the consistency we've shown. But if I'm obviously being realistic, going to Ibrox, I'm not expecting to win.
No, 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 and understandably so. No, I totally get your point, by the way, and it's you've got more reason than ever to think that you can do it. But again, like I say, just having had that feeling even last season or however many seasons before, sometimes you have that feeling, and it just makes it all the worse when because what will happen is they'll play like a Dundee who are really struggling, and
Yeah,
they'll scrape their 4-3 win, or they'll drop points to St Mirren as
yeah,
they did a couple of weeks ago, and then Hearts come into town,
yeah,
or in this case Hibs, and they turn up and win 4-0. And
yeah,
you're
yeah,
because they know they've got more of a challenge coming, maybe because two of the better
yeah.
teams. Uh,
Exactly. And Ferguson will have them
aye.
uh, properly fired up for this Hibs game. Obviously, it's a bit of a rivalry there between Hibs and Rangers now as well. Um, I Right, I'm going to give you the head and heart one again.
Yeah, of course you have to. Do you know? I've noticed we only do that when we're probably going to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Um, okay, the sensible one first is my head. Um, 2-1 Rangers would probably be the best bet. I think we'll score, but I think at home at Ibrox, I'll give them 2-1. But the heart is saying 2-0 Hibs.
2-0.
2-0.
That's bold. I thought you were expecting a goal fest.
The heart saying that we're gonna go there and do a professional job on them. Boyle and Bowie are gonna put them to the sword.
I'm gonna obviously my heart says Rangers 10-0. So
Yeah,
no, my head says Rangers 3-1. Again, I can't see them keeping a clean sheet, but I also think that there'll be a case of because Hibs will go for it, even if they're just 2-1 down with 10 minutes to go, and I think Rangers will maybe break away and get rather than it going 2-2, it'll go 3-1 at that point. Um, But I totally agree, mate. I can see it. I could see a Hibs win happening, definitely.
And I think we're just touching on a goal fest. Look, it could happen a 3-2, a 3-3,
I
a
know.
4-3 even because both teams have a lot of goals in them at both ends. So like this could be another Rangers Dundee. What I would say to Rangers fans is if they play like that against Hibs, and if Hibs were to go, what was it, 3-1? Was it?
2-0 and 3-1.
If Hibs were to go 3-1 up, we'd obviously have more quality than a Dundee, for example. So
Oh, of
it
course.
might be a different story. But if it's a shootout, then you'd back the team that has more quality. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you never know. I'm actually excited about the game rather than dreading it.
Yeah, and there's been a few times I've gone to, or not physically gone, but we've been going to Ibrox, and I've just thought, or Celtic Park, and so I honestly would rather just skip this weekend.
Yeah,
I can't be
exactly,
bothered. I can't be bothered
exactly.
going through it. No, but so I get that. I get why you're excited. So no, no, good luck to you. Fair enough. I get that. Hearts Dundee United. Obviously we predicted a goal fest for Rangers Hibs. So that'll probably be 0-0.
Yeah,
Today, I'm going to say Hearts win that 2-1. Because Dundee United, they're not on. I think we're better than them. Obviously, the league position doesn't show that yet. We're in better form than them, but they're still not a bad team.
I'm gonna go for Hearts 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah, I think you'll. I don't think Dundee United are a great team at all. I think you'll do a job on them.
That
Uh,
that'll be causes problems.
and I think you guys are desperate as well because if you don't win that and St Mirren win their game,
And
then
or well, yeah.
you're in bother because St Mirren arguably have the two easier fixtures
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. We've got Dundee United and then we've got Motherwell. So, um,
away.
yeah,
But I expect Hearts to not have any problems.
I'm looking at those two games thinking it should be 6 points, but you know, football would be boring if it just always worked out like
Yeah,
that.
no. Uh,
Hopefully, hopefully
and
it's quite boring. Two boring 1-0s would be phenomenal.
yeah, yeah. But you look if Hibs do manage to get a result and you guys somehow I don't actually know who Aberdeen have, but if you guys somehow can get a win against them and Hibs win or something, like it'd be brilliant because that knocked Dundee United out the race for third.
Oh well, actually, yeah. So I mean, we're doing you a bit of a favour potentially by beating Dundee United. Yeah. So good to know we're both supporting Hearts this weekend.
Depending on our result. If we lose, then obviously I want that the game to be a draw.
Brilliant. Again, yeah. So as I was saying, both Hearts fans this weekend. That's great.
And Aberdeen, who do they have?
I could find out for you in a second.
We need to find out.
Aberdeen have got away to Ross County.
But that's a difficult one as well. I'd back a draw in that game.
Yeah, Ross
Um,
County can be stubborn. And then by the way, Aberdeen are at home to Rangers.
yeah,
Last game before the split.
and we have Killy
I
at
mean,
the road, I think.
the odds are the Hibs gap being wider. Versus Aberdeen. What, you 1 point ahead of them just now, I think. I'd be amazed if
Yeah.
by the split. I'd be amazed if by the split it was still 1 point. I think you'll widen that gap.
Well, I'm surprised at that because Aberdeen. Well, they must not be backing them Aberdeen to get a result in County then, or Ross County. They must be going for a draw there maybe, and then Hibs win on the last day and Aberdeen
No, no,
get.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
There's a point behind, and I think they
yeah.
draw with Ross County and lose to Rangers. And I think who have you got? Sorry, the week after Rangers. Can
I
you
think
remember?
it's Killy.
Oh yeah, sorry, you just said Kelly. Yeah, yeah, and I'm expecting you to win that.
Yeah,
Again, I know anything can happen. So yeah, I'm expecting you to widen that gap before the split.
yeah, it could be. Um, but like anything can happen.
Yeah.
As we know, it's up and down football, and I wouldn't count Hearts out yet of even.
No.
I think you'll get top six, but I wouldn't even count you out the running for third yet. If
Oh,
obviously if the gap gets any wider by the
yeah.
time the split comes in, probably yes, I would count you out, but
Put it
I
this way.
I think given the points still to play for,
Yeah.
I'm backing you to get top six. It could still be close.
It could be 5 points this time next week, and we've still got an Edinburgh derby if we
Yeah,
make the top six. So,
absolutely.
100%, we are still in it. Obviously, it's against us though.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Hibs points total than Hearts. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So an exciting run in though, which is nice to have.
Yeah, and look, I think it shows what an exciting league we'd have without Rangers or Celtic.
I know. I imagine this is for the title, and Hibs have
That's what
gone.
I'm saying. Like, imagine that, like that. There's still what 4 or 5 teams in it that could still win it. That there's not like big 25, 30 point gaps.
I know.
It's just it's so annoying. But anyway, it is what it is.
So yeah, we'll just need Hibs to win that league next season. So no, maybe not, maybe not. Listen, that's it for this week. Thanks very much, everyone, for tuning in. Robert, always great to catch up, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.